All right, hello and welcome to another match of the long-term tournament in the FTF Discord. So we won't know what deck lists are because they are changeable, and this is a match between Steelrocket and Melty. I'm trying to remember some stories about these players. So Steelrocket, Rune Portal, Melty. I forgot what classes he had. uh, okay, brain is not fast enough. I think most likely Steel Rocket is playing Spell Boost Puppet like he is playing the short term. And looks like I think Melty has I can't remember if Melty is armed or Discard Dragon, but it could be either. Be able to see quickly, and it is Discard Dragon. Discard Dragon versus Spell Boost. Definitely slightly favored to Discard Dragon. So let's see how this goes. I think okay, so yeah, that's probably a full toss from Steel Rocket makes sense. Draws into a Sea Mile and a Uranus, which is Uranus is okay actually. Uranus is actually pretty good in this matchup if you can get your deck going fast enough. And ooh, going for the full. Wait, this is the God curve here from Melty. He's going first. He has the turn 1 Augite on Dragon Youth's Might into the turn 2 Dragon Oracle, turn 3 Augite on Dragon Youth's Might into Argente. That is actually insane. And he draws a second Argente. This could be over already. Steel Rocket does, of course, have a pretty good hand of his own with the turn 1 Insight, boosting 2 cards into a turn 2 pawn. Okay, so Melty is fully aware of how this curve goes. Plays another. Yeah, is he gonna discard? I want to see him hold on to the Noir and Blanc. No, no, no! Hold on to the Noir and Blanc. You're ramping so fast. Oh, wait, did you hear me? Okay, just pitch Uranus and Nomadic. You are ramping way too fast to be pitching a Noir and Blanc with this hand, Melty. Yeah, there you go. And he draws into another Noir and Blanc. My god. He can pitch one of these Lumiors just fine next turn with the Argenta. This is actually nuts. And I think... Is Goomba? Not Goomba. Why do I keep thinking Goomba? I don't know. There's probably some caster favoritism here. So... Steel Rocket is now going to have to play... Oh, he is going to leave this Argente up for a turn. Probably okay, because he has Angel's Blessing going second. And, yeah, he just needs... Like, given the insane ramp curve that's already happened, Steel Rocket just needs to catch up. Okay, this is nice. Decisions here from... Oh, wait. Tossing... Wait... He tossed one of his Noir and Blancs. What? Wait, no. Oh, I don't like that. That Noir and Blanc is gonna get shot down before. Yeah, like when you have two Noir Blancs like that, you just pitch Drizzale and Lumior there. 100%, 100%. Because evolved Noir and Blanc is so hard for Spell Boost to deal with, and then like a ramp card in hand, I don't think you play C Long here. I think you just cycle your Drizzales. I mean, the Drizzales are not even that hard for Spell Boost to deal with because of Raining Blades. Drizzale, yeah. So that was, losing a Noir Blanc is so impactful for this matchup. What I would have wanted to see there from Melty was to look for his Fileens, because if he Fileens next turn, and the ideal next turn for Melty would have been to just see Lone Ramp and play a Fileen. And once he does that, the game is just over, because if he ramps to 10 after a Fileen to disrupt Steel Rocket. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Steel Rocket actually takes a slow turn here with Angel's Blessing into Meltina to banish C Long. And this is a free turn to Dragewood ramp. Let's do it. Just ramp. Okay. Cycle a Drizzale here. Yeah, this is insanely fast. Don't use an Evo, no need. But I do want to see a Drizzale cycle here, because once again, I think what Melty really wants to hit next turn, he's thinking about the Evo. There's not actually any pressure to Evo here. And I think if he Evo'd, he should Evo the Dragewood just to get another body on the board, which is a little more relevant than 2 damage. And I really want him to cycle the Drizzale. The Drizzales are borderline useless if the spell boost player is set up. You spend 7 play points to not do anything. But anyway, this game is very, very difficult for Steelrocket here, though, because he has not gotten enough spell boosts. He's played a lot of he's played a lot of card drop, but the problem is Steelrocket has not found a single copy of Chakram Wizard, which is very rough for him. Like, no Chakram Wizard means he just doesn't have the board clear power, and he's just leaving lethal on board with nothing that he can do about it. It's so awkward. And well, there's the Phylene. Okay, so he drew the Phylene anyway, and that's just game. But still, just a few minor inaccuracies. I think Drizzale is not that good in this matchup as the full cost, unless you are playing from behind. And Melty was playing all gas, no brakes that game. Like, there was just no way to stop him. But when you play like when you're that far ahead, you have to realize your payoff at 10 play points, and that is the Norm Blanc and that is Phylene. And so every other card in your deck at that point does not matter. You just need to get Norm Blanc out, and then if you have Phylene on the turn, you get Norm Blanc out, it's game over. Alrighty, so now we're going to see Last Word's Shadow against Spell Boost. This matchup is probably... This matchup... What it was unfavored before the nerfs, but because Last Words has so many self-pops, it's probably slightly first favored here. But this hand is a bit slow here from Melty, which is like weird because he has a like 1-2-3 curve, but I think the biggest problem for Melty is he has no Azvaldt. And so what you need in this... Oh, plays a second Loyal Ghost Hope, saving the Deathcat Reaper. I think that's wrong. I think Melty should just play Deathcat Reaper because it's more pressure immediately. Yeah. I mean, it's like a very small inaccuracy. I understand why he wants to save Deathcat Reaper, but the danger of getting board locked is non-trivial in this matchup, and so Melty should be trying to put as much like vertical power on the board as possible rather than using his like weaker followers, trying to save the Deathcat Reaper fanfare. That's just not that impactful compared to getting, yeah. And so interesting. So Steelrocket is going to play a full cost Meltina again, even with the Angel's Blessing in his hand. But I guess he wants to get the draw there, and well, this Deathcat Reaper does see use now here from Melty, and he is already at... Okay, no, that Glowing Cerberus is a Jabate. Chaotic... I think, see here, I still would just play the Deathcat Reaper, but the Chaotic Doom hits the best possible mode. That is so painful to deal with. But, I mean, is it better than Deathcat Reaper? Okay, Angel's Blessing is gonna try to undo some of this damage. It is tough out here for Steelrocket. He's gonna Story of a Lifetime. He's pitching the other story. That's okay. Yeah, and then definitely gonna have to make some commits here. But if there's any hand that can survive this level of aggression, it is Steelrocket's hand. Whew, what a hand he's got here. He's gonna be able to use his Chakram Wizard. Does he commit the... is he gonna commit the Crushing Rain here? No need, right? So he just clear with the Chakram Wizard here and chill, probably. Definitely gonna save the clearing power for later. And he has a second, like, how much damage? Let me count Steelrocket's damage real quick. 2, 6, 9, 13, 15, 16. Just a little shy of lethal damage from Steelrocket. So, okay, so he's gonna have to do a little bit of work. But you know who else has plenty of damage here is Melty. Wow. Like, he's got Mino into Corral Souls, or Mino into Deathcat Reaper into Corral Souls. I would probably save the Cerberus here for Storm. I don't like rushing out here with the Cerberus. Because you could hit face with the Ghost, Death Cat Reaper, then Corral Souls the Death Cat Reaper, leave no followers on board, which is really, really nice to have in this matchup. Leaving no followers on board when your opponent doesn't have a Storm play out means that they have to work. Okay, this is still no followers on board, right? That enchanting spell is going to be useless, and he is playing the Fallen Sergeant list, which I don't like as much. Does he use the Evo here? There's actually not much reason for Melty to use an Evo point here, because it would just get him punished by, it could get him punished by another Angel's Blessing, so I'd like not using the Evo for sure. Another Raining Blades off the top for Steelrocket. Gonna draw. Magical Strategy drawn. Gonna play it. There's the Angel's Blessing, one card late. That could cost him the game if Melty draws into enough action here. Melty is at 8 last words. Steelrocket is gonna play the Chakram Wizard. Does he use the Evo? Oh, I mean, the Angel's Blessing also wouldn't have healed, so I guess that doesn't matter. Does he use the Evo? I think he has to use the Evo, right? Has to commit to the Evo here. He's gonna choose not to, though. Gensetsu off the top. That doesn't really do anything. Fallen Sergeant, Death Cat Reaper. Death Cat Reaper, the Chakram Wizard. And then he's going to be able to Corral Souls the Death Cat Reaper, which heals him to 20. Probably trade one Ghost into the pawn here, and then evolve the... Does he evolve the Ghost face? Oh, that is so difficult. He's going to be able to get a draw off the Fallen Sergeant at the start of the next turn, but he doesn't know what it is, but with one condemned follower in here being the Underworld Lieutenant, it's not certain how... Yeah, that's not a guaranteed lethal setup with anything. Thinking about... So, there's a lot of difficult choices here. I do like killing the pawn here, because that... And holding the Evo makes Angel's Blessing still really awkward here for Steelrocket. Steelrocket really needs to draw an Orchestral Mage, so I think he's going to lead off with Crushing Rain into Angel's Blessing to look for an Orchestral Mage. Or is he going to use Meltina? Angel's Blessing or Meltina here? Meltina? Okay, either way, he wants to find that Orchestral Mage. Does he have lethal off of that? Let's see. Draws another Raining Blades. 4, 3, 4. It's lethal. This could be lethal. It's really close. I think it is. 7 here. Yeah, and then another 7. Ooh, so yeah, that is the lethal. I guess Meltina Angel's Blessing would have been the same. Well, Meltina is a little better by boosting the card that he draws, but not. Yeah, and that is exact lethal, and so a really scary start from Melty, but Steelrocket manages to assemble lethal just in time, even without that much healing. And I think part of the difficulty for Melty was definitely so I really think Melty could have leveraged that Cerberus damage a little better. That was probably the big play there. Like, if he had Storm from Cerberus, there's so much extra damage. So you should use Death Cat Reaper that turn to get the clear. Try to get to 10 last words without Cerberus, and then try to get the Storm with the Cerberus. I mean, it's not guaranteed that he gets the... But I think he Cerberused and pitched, like, Mino, right? Which uses up, like, which is like a net of, like, +1 last word, which is not that good. And then he didn't have the Storm on Cerberus. Yeah, so now it's going to be last word Shadow against Puppet. And this matchup... This matchup is interesting. I think it could really be anyone's game, but I think Last Words is probably a little favorite. I think Puppet just doesn't have enough threat to really scare Last Words into committing to anything early, but this hand from Melty is on the awkward side. They're gonna play a Chaotic Doom here, and gets face damage, which is not exactly what he wants. Should probably play the Loyal Ghost Pup here, just to have a... Because you can't really be denied on the Chasm on the target to shoot out Chasm. A little pessimism out here from Melty, but honestly, I think he is fine. He just has to destroy this chasm here. Yeah, still could have used the loyal ghost pup the previous turn and chosen to use the ghost, but I think he wants the damage from the ghost. His hand is just a little bit slow, under a lot of pressure, but it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. The puppet deck needs to chain together a really good hand to close out the game, and not that strong of a hand yet here from Steelrocket. And you can see that Steelrocket is actually using Summon Divine Treasure, taking a bit of a break in his onslaught to refill his hand. Does he play the Tinkering Shopkeeper here? I think that is the most consistent line, but Enhanced Puppet is a bit better on tempo. I don't know. I believe with the card draw plan, he should be trying to save his puppets for a possible Orcus draw the next turn. So I don't really like using the puppet there. I don't think that Deathcat Reaper was that much to worry about. So another Cerberus drawn here for Melty, but I really want to see him use the Hugin and Munin here. Hugin and Munin is definitely just like, even though they don't have the rush effect, there we go. Okay, yeah. I guess Cerberus at 4 last words is definitely worse. You can evolve one of these Hugin and Munins to clear out the Babkatha, and he's in a okay spot. He's going to be able to draw 2 off of the Hugin and Munin, unless there's some shenanigans from Melty's deck. From Steelrocket's deck, rather. Could be shenanigans from Melty's deck. So the Lashena off the top from Steelrocket is... See, so this is an interesting situation. Destroyed Fallers for Steelrocket is no 0 cost yet, so he needs to make sure... Oh, okay, so he does Craftsman's Pride? Is he going to play the Lashena? But actually, I think he should make Lashena for healing, right? Because that puts pressure on... Lashena for healing is actually really strong. It puts pressure on... Okay, but he's going to use Lashena for damage. Make sure to destroy a puppet before evolving. Okay, good, good. That gets the reanimate 0. But I don't know if I like Lashena for damage. It is pressure, which is good, of course, but the Last Words deck can actually recover on board quite easily from this spot. And then the Jetpack Gunner, though. Okay, so that is pretty scary. Estendat and Hugin and Munin drawn for Melty. That's pretty big. Hugin and Munin is going to be 2 Last Words, and then, so that's 8. And then Cerberus pitching Thunder God is going to get the last 2 Last Words here, while getting some healing and a clear. Yup, so this is now 10 Last Words in play here for Melty. Trade in everything here for sure. You don't want... No, just trade in... Okay. Trade in the 1-2 anyway. Just get the healing now. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty, so Melty is set up. Melty is actually threatening lethal, which means Steelrocket needs to find healing, and this is why I pushed for new prayers. Melty has 14 damage in hand, and he is going to win the game next turn. There's actually nothing Steelrocket can do because he doesn't have healing. But if he had new prayers, he would delay this push from Melty, and he would win. He could win with the Curzale top deck. And so, yeah, double Colonel, Estendat is lethal. And yep, that is 6 plus 8, 14. And unfortunately, yeah. It's just because the puppet deck has a very strong start, but because Steelrocket let up on the pressure, he couldn't really, that damage was not going to convert in time. And it's a tough call because he doesn't have the full info, but the Last Words build that Melty is playing can get to 10 very easily by turn 6. It was a high roll from Melty to get that specific hand without without very many condemned searches. But that threshold is very possible, and I think in general, just grabbing the healing is like, so when Steelrocket grabbed the healing or damage decision, he was in command of the game. But you always have to think that it's possible over 2 turns to get in a position where you're getting OTK'd, and your deck doesn't at that point does not have plays that interact with it. So you kind of have to get your only source of healing. Once you get the healing, that gets you an extra turn, which in turn makes, because the difference between getting a double kernel and a triple kernel, the probability of that is much lower for triple kernel, which puts a lot of pressure on Melty to assemble a better hand. So I think the healing is overall the better play in that situation, even though that Steelrocket is in a commanding position. But that is going to be 2-0 for Melty, or 2-1 for Melty. I keep forgetting the spell boost mirrors. I think the game just lasts so long. 2-1 for Melty to take it over Steelrocket. Really close games all around, like just lethals out of nowhere in this matchup. But yeah, like aside from the first game where Melty just was so far ahead with discard. So well played by both players, I think. Definitely some tough decisions that would have impacted the game throughout the match, which is interesting to see. But yeah, and so thank you to the players, and thank you everyone joining, watching the video, and I hope to see everyone another time.